Last month, deputies handed out 101 citations to superspeeders going 100 miles per hour. That's the most they've caught in 1 month since 2020.
Hey man, welcome into Results 1 again.
Oh yeah.
I hopped in Results 1 with Trooper Steve and headed down 417. He says that there's been a rise in people driving 100 miles per hour since the pandemic.
We saw speeds that we had never seen before on such a regular basis out here, whether it's 417, I-4, people doing 100 miles an hour all the time.
You're going to receive 2 citations.
Deputies say that this man was fined over $1,100 and given a mandatory court appearance. Sheriff John Mita wants state lawmakers to impose more consequences. He says he wants them to make superspeeding as serious as reckless driving and to impound vehicles for those trying to get away. If Mina's legislative changes are made, that would mean you could get a $2,500 fine, along with your license suspended for 6 months, a court appearance, and your vehicle impounded for 30 days.
You can hand out flyers all day, you can make social media posts all the time, but until you hit somebody where it hurts, I'm talking their wallet, their driver's license, or to where the sheriff is trying to get to seize someone's vehicle at a certain speed, that's when you start getting people to pay attention.
Get this, these changes could raise the fines for second-time offenders to $5,000 and their license suspended for an entire year. In Orange County, Jarrell Baker getting Results, News 6.
But see, I think you're now getting into the territory of people, if you've been caught more than once, you've been fined $1,100, and now it's $5,000, they don't care.
That's what it seems. That's what it seems. And the thing is, too, I mean, I drove 95 today and I-4.
I thought you meant you were going 95.
Did not. Excuse me. I-95 and I-4. Thank you for that clarification. If you're in the left lane and you're going 80, whatever.
Oh, you're too slow. They want you
if
out
you're
of the way.
in the middle lane and you see them coming, I go, that's 100, because if they're like shaking your car and you're going 80, that's a problem.
It's like you're standing still.
It's
yeah,
freaky,
it really is a problem.
freaky.
Just slow down. Slow down. All right, let's slow this heat down. It is coming on hot and heavy. Too soon, Jonathan.
Way too soon. Yeah, and I think there's been a consensus. People even like the heat. I think it's a little too soon, right? I mean, we have a lot of months to make up for that coming around down the pipeline. But in the short term, it is really hot. Tomorrow we could break some records. We did set a record today in Daytona Beach for high temperatures. It's the only record that fell this afternoon, but we'll have another shot tomorrow. It's a live look in Port Canaveral with our Launch Credit Union camera tonight. Temperatures back to the mid-70s, the breeze at about 15 miles an hour. Temperatures across the board in the lower 80s in Mount Dora. We're at 81 in Leesburg, 84 in the Villages. 82 in Holopog. Good evening in Mico. We're back to 77. Palm Bay, we're also checking into the upper 70s. Same deal in Wellburn. That's West Melbourne and Melbourne. So we just combined both of you guys. So we're at 68 degrees in Mount Dora tomorrow morning. 68 degrees in the Villages as well. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast for tomorrow afternoon. Temperature is going to get back into the upper 60s again to start. We're back to around 90 degrees in Orlando, 88 in Mount Dora, 84 degrees in New Smyrna. And again, records could fall across the board tomorrow afternoon. Best shot again going to be in Orlando. Temperature is expected to get to right around 90 degrees. If we do hit 90, and again, it's going to be very, very close, but if we do that, that's going to be the earliest occurrence of 90 degrees on record. The current earliest occurrence of 90 degrees is February 15th, back in 1935. Rain chances also on the rise ahead of that system. There's 3 to 4 o'clock as we move towards Thursday morning. We'll see the opportunity for some fog as well. Temperatures, again, guys, getting back into the 80s. We'll talk much more about this in about 15 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Jonathan. Developing at 6:30, a man wanted for a double homicide hundreds of miles away is now in custody. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says they arrested Scott Mitchell in Daytona Beach this afternoon. Here's a look at that picture. Mitchell was wanted for 2 counts of second-degree murder in Binghamton, New York. So Binghamton Police and the Volusia Sheriff's Office teamed up to offer a $10,000 reward for information leading for his arrest. Sheriff's Office says Mitchell was caught thanks to an AT&T worker who thought he saw a man matching Mitchell's description panhandling yesterday. Investigators from New York are now headed to Daytona Beach to take Mitchell back there.
A bus with elementary school kids caught fire on I-95 near Melbourne earlier this afternoon. And you can see video and the smoke coming from that bus. Leaders with Brevard County Schools tell us 5th grade students from Apollo Elementary were on board at the time. They were returning from a field trip at Patrick Space Force Base. Students evacuated and no one was hurt here. Brevard school buses picked up the students and took them back to Apollo Elementary.
The Florida Senate is advancing a bill to stop developments like golf courses and lodges in state parks. This follows last year's bipartisan uproar over the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's Great Outdoors Initiative, which included plans for 3 golf courses at Jonathan Dickinson State Park. After that uproar, Governor DeSantis paused the proposal. Now, new legislation aims to prevent such developments in the future. State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith backs that bill.
Florida is a beautiful state. It is a beautiful state because of our natural beauty and the state parks that exist within the great state of Florida.
The bills are filed for the legislative session that will begin on March 4th. A science charter school in Lake Mary has plans to expand in the next few years. A new 73,000 square foot building, there's a look at it right there, will have more room for some students at the site near the existing school on 1792.
Yeah, but that also means more traffic, more noise, and more growing pains that need to be addressed before commissioners give their approval. News 6 reporter Catherine Silver looks at the proposal and the process underway to fine-tune it.
This is the existing Seminole Science Charter School off of 1792 and Ronald Reagan Boulevard. The new site is not far from here, where they hope a new building and field would eventually accommodate high school and middle school students. It's just south of Lake Mary Woods, which is where we're headed now.
All of this is going away, which obviously is a big privacy concern.
You've lived in this neighborhood for 18 years. You're not against this school, you just have some concerns.
No, the existing school has been my rear neighbor for almost 10 years at this point. There are some concerns just with the noise that comes from the school.
Were you nervous about cut-throughs and things like that?
So that was a big concern, was parents or even students using Pew Street here as a place to park or drop off kids.
One of the main things we've heard is the traffic. What adding 970 students and their families to 1792 will do during drop-off and pickup times. Commissioners addressed that during a meeting this week.
I just can't fathom that it met traffic standards. I do not want this to become a county problem with we have to expand the damn lanes on that road to pay for this.
The development team for the school's expansion says they've evaluated the traffic, stormwater, and other concerns, and so has the county staff.
You didn't hear an individual this afternoon cite a land development code provision that we don't comply with.
But commissioners said after the feedback they've given and comments they heard, there should be more discussion.
I think that we have a lot of community members who really, really appreciate this school. That is a very separate and different topic from the site plan that's been presented to us today.
And so they will keep making adjustments to that plan, and they'll be back here on March 25th to see if they can come to an agreement. So this charter school that so many people do love can continue to serve more students in Seminole County. I'm Catherine Silver, Getting Results, News 6.
Let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. When you think of car racing, Daytona Beach probably comes to mind, the first place that comes to mind. But did you know that nearby Ormond Beach claims the title of the birthplace of speed? I love these old images
isn't that
here.
great?
This historic beach is where the land speed record was first set more than 120 years ago. With its unique sand and ideal condition, Ormond Beach became a racing haven for early automobile pioneers. And it wasn't just about the races either. The area attracted wealthy figures like Henry Ford and John Rockefeller. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell looks back at the history of Ormond Beach's title as the birthplace of speed. You can check out that story on clickorlando.com.
It's so interesting, and I think she was explaining how quartzite is what is in that sand, and so it makes it a little easier to race on, and they didn't have paved roads back then.
Right.
So where are you going to do it?
The beach with that kind of sand. It is crazy, though, when you look at how unique the different beaches are. As you head down from Flagler all the way to Brevard, how different not only the sand is, the topography. It's really
You'll
cool.
be sinking
it's
in
not
some
all
of
the same
beaches.
beach.
Yeah, you're not going to race on a lot of those other beaches.
No, certainly not Cocoa Beach or Satellite Beach.
That is for sure. Here's some of the other stories trending right now on clickorlando.com. Publix is announcing 4 new locations across Florida, including one in Haines City. They will have your typical offerings like a pharmacy and liquor store. However, one thing is missing. Those giant signature scales that they normally have out front. There is a good reason behind that. You can find out why on our website. I can't understand why people would want to weigh themselves in public.
I don't do
it. Was
it.
always the guys, too, with groceries in hand. Lastly, Universal's Epic Universe will be serving out more than 100 delicious food and beverages for guests to try. Dining experiences will range from fast casual to full-service restaurants. Guests can savor Asian, Italian, French cuisines, and other uniquely themed items. To each world in the park, you can see what the park is teasing right now by going to clickorlando.com.
I got a hunch that they're not teasing the price of all that cuisine.
And you know, if you have to ask, Justin.
Oh, I know the answer already.
Well, when you call for help, it's not just our local law enforcement who show up.
Yeah, we're learning the Florida Department of Corrections is also answering the call, especially when it involves one of their offenders. So coming up, Eric Von Anken goes inside the Corrections Department to see how they're getting results protecting our community. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in celebration in all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
When criminals are released from prison, the Florida Department of Corrections keeps an eye on them, especially sex offenders and career offenders. But only on 6 tonight, what we didn't know, the Corrections Department is called into communities regularly when neighbors complain about problems caused by an offender under supervision.
There are lots of them, too. 6,800 offenders are being supervised right now by corrections, and that is just in Seminole and Brevard County. So tonight, it is the first time we can get a look inside the Department of Corrections, and News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken caught up with the corrections in Castleberry to see how they're getting results protecting our community.
This is SOTEC, Searching offenders to ensure compliance. Who has to be in compliance? Anyone released from prison on probation, under house arrest, or designated a career offender, sex offender, or sex predator. SOTEC is the Florida Department of Corrections' answer to getting results when their offenders are re-offending. And this is what it looks like. Corrections gave us this body camera video of their most recent offender checks in Seminole County after neighbors called in tips about drug activity next door.
Many of them may be violent felony offenders. Some of them may be sexual offenders. Sometimes we're searching cell phones, computers, drugs, weapons.
So this is Officer Jeremy Underwood, one of the specialists on the SOTEC team. Sir, you were the boots on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me, how do you get called out? We didn't realize that FDC participates with this surrounding local law enforcement, in this case, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, or we're in Castleberry today. How does that coordination happen?
It can happen from tips that we get from the community.
Department of Corrections, how may I direct your call?
A lot of our tips come from local law enforcement, where they contact us.
We're now inside the Castleberry office with Rachel Richardson, who is the administrator of this circuit, which is, again, Brevard and Seminole counties. How did SOTEC come about?
So it came about to ensure that we have a specialized team. And basically, they go out immediately, act on it.
We're headed on out.
Many times it happens right away. I've received calls, and then within the hour, we're out of the house. We got a call about a house that was potentially having drugs in it. Many people in the neighborhood were coming up and saying thank you. Thank you for keeping our neighborhood safe. Thank you for being able to come out here and put our neighborhood back to the way it used to be.
And all of this is on top of what SOTEC and what FDC does every single day. Remember, one of their primary missions is to monitor, to check in on all of the people that they supervise. So that's sex offenders, sex predators, anyone on probation. The law also requires all of those people to check in person regularly with FDC. That's the point of these new buses. There are several now of these statewide to make sure that happens. For now, protecting our community in Castleberry, Eric Von Anken getting results. News 6.
All right, let's take you outside again, give you a live look. This is from the Launch Credit Union Port Cam at Port Canaveral. It's been a bit of a breezy day. It's been hot, but quite breezy. I can always tell just how breezy it is by just looking at my Ring camera and also looking at this nice little full moon there, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, but I get
snow moon, baby.
I got so many leaves in my stinking pool. But anyway. Enough about me. Let's talk about the weather.
No, this is the time.
This is real.
The time.
I thought they were done, dude. I'm like, okay, finally I could put the little dolphin away that like sucks them all up. Nope. It's gonna stay out.
It's back.
They're just dropping.
It is going to get breezy as well for this weekend. So if you're planning on raking leaves for the next few days, just wait.
Just don't.
Just wait, because they're going to come back down again as we get into Saturday and Sunday for sure. Nice day today, warm day today. It's going to be even warmer tomorrow. We keep on talking about it. This is the day we're advertising temperatures to get really, really close to 90 degrees.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, it's February, and certainly we get warm in this state. We know that, but it's a little bit too hot too soon.
Yeah, it's early for a 90-degree day.
Very, very early. By the way, I crunched the numbers. We're off to the second warmest start ever in February.
Oh, good.
By like a tenth of a degree.
After like the coldest January.
After like, it was insane. I think we finished like just outside the top 10 in January.
Can't wait for March.
Oh my goodness. What will it bring? Will it be in like a lion or out like a lamb or vice versa? Anyway. This is our hour to just catch up a little bit and air the grievances we have with the weather. So join in, post in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. What are your grievances? All right, post Port Canaveral, I should say. Here's a live look. Again, there's that full snow moon out there. Live look with our Launch Credit Union camera tonight. Temperature is back to the mid-70s under a mainly sunny sky. 16-mile-per-hour breeze at this hour, and it's going to knock down some extra leaves again as we keep that breeze elevated through the weekend. But it's a warm breeze. 79 in Mount Dora right now. Kissimmee, good evening. We're at 82, 80 in Holopah. Back to 81 in Daytona Beach. Denellen, good evening. We are at 75. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Watching for a teeny tiny bit of patchy fog in wind protected areas. Otherwise, though, with that breeze, it is going to prevent the fog from being too widespread. We're hanging around 70 in Leesburg, 67 degrees tomorrow morning when you wake up in Palm Coast. Average low temperatures this time of the year in the low 50s. We are blowing way above that by about 15 degrees. High temperatures tomorrow, average again, mid 70s. We're talking about upper 80s to around 90. 88 in Leesburg tomorrow, right around 90 in Orlando. 87 degrees in Titusville. We do have some much colder air coming. This is going to be fast forwarding out to the 20th through the 26th. You see this big chunk of blue on your screen there. It's that probability that we have colder than normal temperatures coming down the pipeline. That is going to be after we get beyond Daytona 500 weekend, of course, but things could get a little dicey in terms of the race. More on that in just 1 second. Weather-wise anyway. 3, 4 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Watch out for a little bit of fog. Again, most of us are going to be fine in that department because the wind is going to help to prevent that from settling in. 4, 5 o'clock on your Thursday, watching for a few thunderstorms. Rain chances go up to 30% tomorrow. This is as that cold front slices right on through. Now, for the duels tomorrow, we're back into the mid-80s. Again, watching for that 30% shot for rain. 74 on Friday, just a stray opportunity early for some showers. Same deal on Saturday. I think most of us are dry for that for those races. And then we have the 500 on Sunday. Rain chances ticking up. We talked about we likely might have to increase the percentage a little bit for rain on Sunday. And it's because of a stronger cold front coming through. There's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock on Sunday during race time. And then again, the scattered shower chances, I think, go up shortly after the race begins. So I think the likelihood of some kind of delay is going up just a smidge. Of course, we will continue to keep you posted on that. 7-day forecast all over the place. 90 on Thursday, 79 on Friday. Then back to the mid-80s over the weekend. And then there's that bigger cold front on race day. It sends us back to the upper 60s. On Monday, guys, we're going to wake up in the 40s and low 50s on Tuesday morning. Oh, my God. It's wild.
What is happening?
Wild.
That is crazy. All right, Jonathan, you've warned us. Thank you. An elementary school in Lake County is hitting a huge milestone. Eustis Elementary School will turn 100 this year.
And as they celebrate the school's history, they're seeking parents and community input about upgrades to the school. They need some upgrades. News 6's Emily McLeod spoke to the principal about what makes this project so unique.
Eustis Elementary School is turning 100 years old this year, and they've got some upgrades planned. So we came by to see how they plan on stepping into the future while preserving the school's rich history and preserving some of the school's iconic architecture, like the front porch.
So the front porch, I feel like when the community hears Eustis Elementary, this is kind of like the first vision that pops into their head. If you look at all of our class pictures from all the way back when, they all took place on the front porch. So this front porch means a lot to the community. So I kind of want to see, this somehow incorporated.
The goal of the school's upgrade project is to maintain the charm of Eustis Elementary while bringing in upgrades to provide more opportunities to students and teachers. Eustis Elementary Principal Rihanna Bordway says she would like to see a bigger cafeteria for community and school events.
We may have a small school, but we have a lot of family. And they come and they support us and what we do, and it's wonderful. This school is just, they don't make them like this anymore.
New technology is also on Bordway's list.
Our school really wants to see a lot more of the smart boards, the Chrome boxes, some of the bigger interactive displays that students can actually get up and show their work and interact with the curriculum on the board.
Now they want to hear from parents or anyone else who has a connection to Eustis Elementary.
I think there is no other way to do it than to have the community have a huge say in what the future of Eustis Elementary looks like.
Eustis Elementary will hold a community meeting Thursday, February 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the school's cafeteria to hear people's thoughts and suggestions for the school's upgrades. In Eustis, Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
I love that they were going to preserve the outside and that old school
absolutely
look.
Gorgeous school.
It really is nice.
I mean, that is the challenge, right? You got to keep the charm while also making those upgrades.
New inside, yeah. Well, egg prices, I don't know if you've noticed, they were up 15% in January, and now some people have switched over to having homegrown eggs and raising chickens in their own backyards. One Central Florida city has just made doing that a lot easier.
So this morning, a Claremont spokesperson told News 6 people can now keep and raise backyard chickens in the city. There are some restrictions, though. Roosters or male chickens not allowed. You can only have up to 5 hens at a time. And you're not allowed to sell eggs or meat from the chickens you raise, just for you, all right? This is not the only city in Central Florida allowing this. If you live in Orlando, St. Cloud, or Winter Garden, you can also raise chickens at home.
But I mean, if you're my neighbor and you have some fresh eggs, you don't have to, you can just, I will accept them.
Donations are welcome, especially
now
in today's world. We'll be right back.
Okay, so this is definitely not a Florida sport, but if you're from up north, you may have had the opportunity to take part in what is called a polar plunge.
A polar plunge, yes. You jump into that icy cold water, or you may have participated in another winter-related activity like snowmobiling, right? That's a little bit more my speed. However, one town in central Wisconsin has a tradition that combines both those activities.
What?
Sounds bizarre, but it's true. On Saturday, the annual Jerry Shoe Jump-In drew thousands to this lake for one of the year's biggest events. This all started back in 1988 when True, a local resident and the owner of a sportsman bar, began a winter polar plunge into those icy waters there. Although Jerry has since passed, his 4 daughters now run the bar, and they continue his beloved tradition.
Yeah, the event has evolved from a simple polar plunge into an open water snowmobile run. I still don't know how that works. Dozens of riders risk
treating it like a jet ski
icy
almost.
plunge as they hydroplane over the water, lined with spectators cheering on the participants. And no need to be alarmed about the machines in the lake. That's what I was concerned about.
Yeah.
A volunteer crew was ready in case
Did you see
help
them there?
was needed.
It took several.
Yeah, they had to be towed
In
out
like
of
a
there,
pulley
pulled it
system.
out.
That's
Because I'm not going in there
I
after
mean,
you.
I'll tell you what.
Oh my gosh.
That looks freezing.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Isn't it snowing in the picture?
You saw
That's
it snowing
crazy.
there.
No thanks.
Good for them.
Hard pass.
The water is actually warmer than the air. It's like 30 in the water, or 32 in the water.
I'm not getting in there. Thanks for joining us. Good celebrate.